What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Packers mock draft video here on the Fantasy Fellowship channel. My name is Kyle. If you guys are new to my stuff, I am primarily a fantasy football content creator, a lot of podcasts and videos and mock drafts and all that stuff. But Packers are my team. We're going to do mock draft 2.0. I've already done 1.0. I think I put that out a couple weeks ago. And in that one, we had a really nice base of what we did. We started with an edge rusher and we added some corners and some receivers. But we're going to try things a little bit differently this time around. I'm going to start this video off by sharing the team needs for 2025 and what I think we can do in the draft. Now, there's going to be some free agents signings probably in the next, I think free agency starts in about 2 weeks. It's February 21st as I record this. So once we get free agency, I'll probably make another mock draft video. But one of the number one needs of this team is cornerback, with Jaire Alexander probably out, Eric Stokes probably not coming back. Who knows about Keyshawn Nixon even? Ton of questions at cornerback. I think that's going to be one of the number one priorities in this draft and probably free agency as well. The other major need here is edge rusher. You know, we did good. We had 45 sacks last year, but our pressure rate was below 30%. And our pass rush win rate was also pretty poor as well. We ranked towards the bottom of the NFL in those categories. So we need more pass rush. We need more pressures. We need more hurries. Despite getting there with sacks, we just need more guys attacking the ball. So edge rusher, number 2. Defensive line, number 3, whether it's defensive tackle, defensive end, kind of anywhere on that defensive line here. Kenny Clark is still playing well, but he's not getting any younger. Devontae Wyatt's shown some promise, but he can't stay healthy. And then we like guys like Carl Brooks and Colby Wooden and TJ Slayton, but we need some more meat up front on the defensive line. Could also use some linebackers here. Edgerrin Cooper is like the future of that spot, but who knows what's happening with Isaiah McDuffie, Eric Wilson. Both those guys are free agents. We might need to get a starting linebacker in this draft, if not some depth. And then obviously wide receiver is probably the biggest one. We all need a number 1 wide receiver. And other spots, you know, we could add offensive line, interior offensive line spots. I don't think we're drafting running back or tight end, but there you have it. 2 quick minutes there on our team needs. And let's get into it. We're going to hop into the PFF mock draft simulator. And if you guys are enjoying the video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you guys are new. I'm probably going to end up posting maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7, maybe 8 Packer mock drafts, you know, because we have a long March. We have a long April as well here. So I'm going to probably try and post at least a mock draft every other week, if not every week. And if you guys hang out to the end, I'll show you guys what's new at the Fantasy Fellowship. We have, I'm starting to put out some articles and some NFL draft prospect profiles. I'll kind of share that at the end of the video if you're interested in hanging out. So I've set this up for 7 full rounds. Packers, we're just going to let it go. I'm not going to do any trades or anything, but we're just going to fire up the first round here and see what happens. Players that we just missed include cornerback from Michigan, Will Johnson, edge rusher from Georgia, the defensive lineman from Michigan, Egbuka from Ohio State, Derek Harmon, and an offensive tackle here from Missouri. Walter Nolan's a popular pick for us as well, if you want to get familiar with his game. I had hopes of getting Jahdae Barron a couple weeks ago, but I just see him moving up and up and up in these mock draft boards, and he's like a top 10 pick right now. So probably not getting my favorite cornerback in the draft here. And honestly, I've been doing these mock drafts. Kind of did a handful of them today, and I've just been doing them throughout the week. I don't love this spot here for the Packers. At pick 23, we have a tackle bit available from the Ohio State, Shemar Stewart. I'm not super in love with his profile here, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Not a lot of sacks. I mean, that's a lot of defensive snaps and not a lot of opportunities to get sacks. He does have hurries, though, that's one of the things the Packers need to add, and he's got a really strong defensive run grade. So I'm not sure, maybe he just needs more people to help him, break free and get some sacks. So I'm not in love with Shemar Stewart, but he's definitely a name to keep an eye on. A lot of people like Matthew Golden. I'm not quite sure I see it with him yet. I don't know if he's a first-round talent receiver. I think he's kind of just getting pushed up a little bit too high. Nick Scarton from Texas A&M, another pass rusher here. Again, not very productive, but good grades. Really strong pass rush win rates here. That's one of the things the Packers needed to improve upon. Pass rush grade, everything looking good here. And then much better in the run defense grade than the other A&M guy. And, he's got an ADP of 29. Shemar Stewart's got an ADP of 22. I don't want to just be like, we have to take an edge rusher here. I do want to look around and see, is there a cornerback that we might like? Trey Amos here, Siobhan Ravel. I don't know enough about Ravel yet. but he did grade out really well. He only played 3 games last year. It must have been injured or something. But I haven't watched him yet, but his man coverage grade looks fantastic. Small school, so you have to ding him a little bit for competition. And then Amos here from Ole Miss. This one looks really promising. I love the coverage grade. I love the run defense grade. I love the man coverage and the zone coverage grade. Allowing a 51% completion percentage is fine because his passer ratings were limited here to pretty low. And this is primarily an outside corner. Looks like he could be a guy that, I don't know, based on whatever he does at the combine, he's pick ADP is 35 right now. So he's definitely a guy I'm interested in. And then I've seen a lot of Benjamin Morrison mocked to us. And I took edge rusher in my last mock draft. I think I'm going to take cornerback here and just, whether it's Benjamin Morrison or Amos or someone else that could fall, maybe the Michigan guy falls to us. I think just starting this mock draft off with the idea that we're going to take the best corner available, because I'm not really loving those edge rushers at that spot. So first round pick, we'll lock in Benjamin Morrison, corner from Notre Dame, and I'll just pull up his numbers again real quick for you guys. 6 games played last year, but he's been a really good passer rating lockdown defender. No interceptions last year, but 3 and then 6 his freshman year, which is pretty solid. He can play really well in the run defense department. Man grade is not as good as the coverage grade, and they're both not great, but a lot of people do like him, and he's one of the most drafted Packer players at the moment here. So we'll go Benjamin Morrison. We'll watch for his NFL Combine. Now we're up to pick again, round 2. Top available, Xavier Restrepo. Now, I like Restrepo quite a bit. He's had 2 really productive seasons the last 2 years. Last year with Cam Ward, 69 catches, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. Really strong profile, 83 receiving grade, yards per route runs pretty good, contested catch rates there, drop rate is fine, and the grade versus man coverage, like this is potentially what the Packers are looking for. Now he's a little undersized, 5'10", but I do like the weight at 198, so he's a good 198 at that height, and he's a guy that I think could really help the Packers. We have a good cast of guys, but none that are just elite. And I don't know if Restrepo is going to ever be elite, but I do like his profile in this offense. He's a guy that can beat man coverage. So he definitely interests me. I still like Dontavian Wicks. I still like Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed. But maybe Restrepo is a guy that sticks out here, and the Packers are like, yeah, let's add him. There are some guys that I like later in the draft here, and I usually don't see Restrepo fall this far. So definitely interested here, but let's keep looking a little bit. I love the running backs in this draft class, but there's just nothing for us to take at the moment. Kyle Kennard here, the South Carolina edge rusher, 10 sacks last year, 7 the year before, some hurries here. Primarily the outside tackle here, not a very good run stop rate. Pass rush win rate's pretty high, and run defense looks okay. This is kind of the same profile as the other 2 guys that we were looking at in round 1. So I'm not opposed to Kyle Kennard here. He's a name to put on the radar. Josiah Stewart out of Michigan. This one looks pretty good. Really elite scores the last 2 years, a 91.2 overall grade. Look at that run defense grade, up to 83.7. The win rate's really high. The run stop, everything's really, really high here. And primarily an outside tackle, 9 sacks last year, 20 hurries. And he had his best year in this junior season. So this looks like someone that would interest me. He is kind of, falling in mock drafts. He's 73.9. They rank him 64th. So I think if I take him, they're not going to like me, when they grade these at the end, they're going to want me to take, why didn't you take Kennard? But I definitely think Josiah Stewart is definitely on the list here for the Packers. I'm looking around here for any other positions. Jordan Birch here, the edge rusher out of Oregon, 10 sacks last year. Not a very good run stop rate guy, so I kind of just want to dismiss him from the start just because that's one thing that we're going to value at the edge rusher positions is, can you set the edge and stop them from running by you? Let's look at the Tennessee defensive lineman here. Not the best grades, but pretty strong pass rusher for a defensive tackle, defensive lineman, a B gap rusher here. So we have some guys here. I'm just going to, this is a mock draft. We're just doing this for research and having fun. I'm going to take, where's my guy here? Josiah Stewart out of Michigan. So we got a cornerback and an edge rusher. And so we're filling those needs that I talked about earlier. And now we're up to pick here. Did I miss my guy that I made the cover video? I'm going to be mad. We just missed him. The Chargers took my guy. All right. it's round 3. And here's the deal. Trey Harris is one of my favorite receivers in this NFL draft. He's got an elite profile here. He missed a few games last year, but he was amazing with Jackson Dart. He led the NCAA in yards per game, I think 129 or something yards per game. He's a man beater. Like grade versus man coverage is off the charts here at 95. And if there's any way that he's available in the 3rd round, which at this point, I think he's going to go to the combine and probably improve his draft stock. So he's technically someone that I'm going to say is a 2nd round pick potential for the Packers. So file that away, Trey Harris. But as much as I want him, the Chargers take him here. And that's why I didn't take Restrepo, because I thought maybe the mock draft would give me Trey Harris, but it did not. And now that I'm thinking about it, let's see what else is available here. We're not taking Gabriel. We're not taking a tight end. We got a tackle from William and Mary, another tackle, a safety, Mason Taylor, the tight end. A lot of things we don't need here. But wait, we got Tez Johnson here. And so I'm doing a data study, which I've done the last couple of years. And Tez Johnson's season last year graded out as one of the best seasons in my model. And he's a fantastic player. Phenomenal 3-year player here. His only issue is he's 5'10", 165. So for him to be a hit at the next level, we're kind of talking about like an Xavier Worthy profile here, where we need Tez Johnson's speed numbers at the combine. We need to see his 40 time, because if he's 4.32, 4.38, something in that range, like everything's going to check out, and he could be another version of Xavier Worthy here. Because he's a really strong guy that can do everything here. He held up for all these 3 seasons here at Oregon, and he can kind of do a little bit of everything. So I think this is kind of a role that the Packers don't have on our roster. We don't have that dynamic speed guy quite yet. We have Jayden Reed, but I don't think Jayden Reed is top end speed. I think he's more of a solid utility type slot receiver, whereas Matt LaFleur with Tez Johnson, that could be something that could really be fun to scheme up here. So we're going to draft Tez Johnson. And again, he ranked out as one of my best, one of the top receivers for me when I was doing my grades. So there we go. We're hitting the needs. We got Benjamin Morrison, corner, Josiah Stewart, Michigan, and Tez Johnson, corner or receiver from Oregon. We could take another receiver if we wanted to, but I just don't think we're going to double do it. Ahmad Hassanain, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but really productive season, man. 10 sacks last year, 14 the year before, 35 hurries. This is a really strong run defense profile here. Pass rush win rate's looking pretty good. And this is the guy that has some experience playing in a few different spots, but primarily an outside edge rusher. And if we wanted, like, Goody's known to double dip at spots. So I'm kind of interested in this Boise State edge rusher here. I don't think we need it. We kind of need some other spots, whether it's defensive line or whatever. But very interested there. Jack Kaiser. Now, keep in mind, I mentioned maybe Wilson and McDuffie leaving in free agency. I would like to think we're going to get one of these guys back. But if we don't, here's a potential replacement for us. Coverage grade's not as good, but the run defense grade is very good. So this could be another version of McDuffie here. If McDuffie were to leave, I think the linebacker here from Notre Dame fits what we're looking for. Really strong 3-year player. I kind of like Zy Alexander late. Like if we do lose Jair and Eric Stokes, we need to look for probably 2 cornerbacks in this draft class. And Zy Alexander played really, really well last year. 53.2 passer rating, good zone man. Not as good as man coverage, but primarily an outside corner, someone that I think the Packers could be looking into. Riley Mills, another Notre Dame had a good defense last year, it looks like. 8 sacks from a defensive lineman is pretty good. The run defense grade's not very good, but this is a pass rushing defensive lineman here. So that intrigues me quite a bit. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to lock in Jack Kaiser, the linebacker here. He fills one of our potential spots where we might have a hole in our starting lineup if both those guys leave. And if not, we have special teams backup depth there for our guys. Because we know Quay doesn't really quite stay healthy. I love Edgerrin Cooper, but there's potential where we might need a third linebacker there. Okay, Packers are on the clock. This is round 5. Got 2 Notre Dame school guys. Looking around here, I really like Nick Nash again, as a fantasy person, most of my studies involve quarterback, running back, receiver, and tight end. I really like Nick Nash. He has a really strong profile here. Amazing stats last year, and I know it's San Jose State, but if you catch 1,400 yards and 16 touchdowns, you're probably good at football. We just don't know how good he's going to be at the next level. So if we wanted to double dip at receiver, I think that's open. I'm open to it and hoping that Nick Nash and Tez Johnson can kind of come in and compete for number 4 duties and help each other up. We're not probably going to see Christian Watson for a while. I'm thinking he's on the pup list. I'd be shocked if we see Christian Watson before week 4. But anyways, we got some offensive linemen here. Tyler Cooper, guard from Minnesota. He's got some left guard experience and some right guard experience. You can never have enough of those guys. I think we do want to upgrade a couple of our interior line spots, specifically that right guard spot, if I remember correctly. We still don't have any defensive linemen, though. I do want to kind of start to key in on the positions, because after round 4, it's like we're just getting guys that we could probably cut. But we have Tim Smith out of Alabama. Looks like he's a fine player here. He's got some experience over tackle, A gap, B gap, primarily strong run defense grade, really good pass rush win rate grade. I think this is an interesting player here for us to target. ADP of 176, so we're kind of a little bit early to the party, but I'm not opposed to grabbing him. I really like Nick Nash, though, man. I don't know if we need Nick Nash. We already got Tez Johnson. Kobe King, though, if we didn't take the Michigan, the Notre Dame linebacker, Kobe King's someone to keep an eye on. He's a really strong run defense grade player. Coverage is okay, but if we just need someone that can play box linebacker for us, Kobe King, someone that intrigues me a little bit. If we do lose Josh Myers here, we could go back to the Ohio State well and grab another center here, even though he's just okay. Tell you what, I'm going to go Tyler Cooper here with the 5th round pick. Just an interior offensive lineman that, we can never have enough of. So we kind of covered our bases there. We're back up to pick round 6. More linebacker help here, more guard help. I do like Ricky White. Ricky White's a fun player here. He had some amazing seasons the last couple of years. He's a very productive guy. And again, we don't know if Christian Watson is going to be with the team at any point this season, or if we're going to renew his contract at some point. So I'm not opposed to doubling down at wide receiver. I still have not taken a defensive lineman, but if I were, this one looks interesting. Really strong run defense grade. It's Boston College, so we know Jeff Hafley knows of Cam Horsley here. So I'm just going to run it up just to speed the video. We're in the bottom of the mock draft here, so we're just going to have some fun with some of these picks. All right, so I feel really good about this. We got a starting corner, Josiah Stewart, edge rusher, Tez Johnson, Jack Kaiser, Tyler Cooper, Cam Horsley. I kind of want another cornerback. Tommy Hill. Tommy Hill's popped up on, I think, on my last mock draft here. His man coverage grade was really poor that season. Tommy Hill. Let's go to Tommy Hill. I'm just going to open up his PFF profile here. I was hoping it would let me look at all right. So we have his defense grades chart. We have defense. Okay. So I wanted to filter here. So his 2023 grade, he was an 85.9. His run defense grade was fine. Looked like he improved in that in 2024. Pass rush grades, whatever. But his coverage grade was really, really strong. Is there a way for me to see snaps by position? All right, I'm not able to get what I want out of there, but I do like Tommy Hill's profile a little bit. We have a UCF cornerback here. We're picking 238, by the way, so it's kind of like who cares. But we have a UCF cornerback here, strong coverage grade, run defense grade's fine. man and zone look pretty good here too. So I'm just going to slap Mac McWilliams here on the back of our draft. So we double dip at corner. We kind of got everything filled out. So this is kind of like a whatever we want to do pick. We could take another wide receiver here. We're not taking a quarterback. I don't think we're taking a tight end. Tommy Hill's still on the board. I like Brant Keith. He's an interesting player that I was looking at earlier today. We could look at a tackle. We can never have enough tackles. It looks like we got a right tackle here, Trey Wettig, really strong run blocker, and he can play really strong in the zone. We're going to sign off with that. He does have experience at left guard and a few of the other spots, everything but left tackle, but you can never have enough guys to work with. Carson Vincent's another player here who's basically looking like a 3-year starter here at left tackle. Really strong pass block grade. This could be insurance for our first round pick last year, as well as, just you can never have enough tackles here. So Carson Vincent or Trey Wettig will be my pick. I'm just going to go with Carson Vincent here, and we'll call it a day. So we went 21 minutes on this mock draft. I'm going to try and speed that up for the future mock drafts, but let's see what PFF spits out for me with this grade. And of course, I don't care about the PFF grade, whatever, but they give Benjamin Morrison a C. They give Josiah Stewart a C+. Tez Johnson they like as a B+. Jack Kaiser C+. Tyler Cooper C+. Cam Horsley C-. Mac McWilliams they liked. And Carson Vincent, we get a B-. So whatever. I'm not too opposed with that. This is not my favorite draft. Again, right now I don't like where we're at 23. I think we're probably in a candidate to trade down at this point, just because we're probably gonna have to reach on a cornerback. I'm not sure if I found the exact edge rusher that I want there, but those are the two positions that I'm looking at in a first round pick. And then again, I really like Trey Harris, man. I want him round 2. I think next video I'm gonna just reach for Trey Harris and we'll just figure it out. But this is a good class. A lot of good schools on this list here. Excited about what this could potentially do for us. You're looking at a starting cornerback in Benjamin Morrison. I think Josiah Stewart would just be our number 3 or number 4 edge rusher to start the year behind Gary and Vaness, and just kind of pitch in and learn on the go. Tez Johnson would operate as our number 4 receiver. Jack Kaiser could be our number 3 or 4 linebacker and provide some special teams help. Tyler Cooper could compete for right guard or just be interior offensive line depth. Cam Horsley can compete on the defensive line. And then Mac McWilliams, who knows, maybe he's a quarterback 3 or 4. And then Carson Vincent, just a utility offensive lineman there at the back of the draft. So there you have it. The Packers 2025 round 7 mock draft. And if you guys made it to the end, I'm just going to show you guys what's new at the Fantasy Fellowship. If you guys hover over the content tab, I got some articles up here for you guys. If you're interested in reading some of them, go ahead. I dropped a free prospect profile here today, and this is just a snippet of what you guys can get if you become a member. This is Tatara McMillan, and I kind of just give you a background. I go with his college stats here. You shout out a notable game. You got strengths. You got weaknesses here, which I didn't bold, but NFL comparisons, Mike Evans, scouting reports here for you, and just some draft projections, some team fits, and some final thoughts here. And I did that for all the players pretty much at the receiver position. So if you guys are interested in getting access to this, become a member today. You guys can get, this is a 67-page document that I made for the wide receivers here. So under the members content, you have the prospect profiles, which you can download, running back, receiver. But check that out. There's more articles for free as well. If you guys are new to the fellowship, top 5 running backs. I just kind of do a little profile of the top 5 players and shout out a few other ones. So check it out. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this Packers draft. Again, I don't really care what people think about it. We're just having fun having a mock draft here and trying to just identify players, positions, and names that the Packers might call, at the end of April. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Got me feeling icy.